And if there is a part of your body calling out for your attention, can you be loving and kind to that area? What does it feel like to feel love, to see love, to radiate love, and to receive love? Maybe it helps to picture someone who you care about unconditionally. Maybe you picture them in your mind's eye, thinking about their beneficial qualities. What is it that you love about them the most? How does it feel when they send you love? And how does it feel to send them love? Okay, so I have a poem, a meditation on love. When joy brightens my day, may I see love, feel love, radiate love, receive love. When delight dazzles my senses, may I see love, feel love, radiate love, receive love. When hope swells my heart, may I see love, feel love, radiate love, receive love. When amazement makes me breathless, may I see love, feel love, radiate love, receive love. When despair clouds my vision, may I see love, feel love, radiate love, receive love. When fear immobilizes my body, may I see love, feel love, radiate love, receive love. When loneliness seeps into my joints, may I see love, feel love, radiate love, receive love. When anger constricts my heart, may I see love, feel love, radiate love, receive love. May I see love, may I feel love, may I radiate love, may I receive love. So, as we move through our practice today, moving with love, being kind to your body, do what feels right for you. If we come into a pose that doesn't feel good today, please come out, come into any kind of resting posture, and then join us again whenever you are ready. So let's make some small movements here in fingers and toes. Rolling around wrists and ankles. Maybe rocking your head from side to side. What feels good, loving, and nourishing to you today? And then whenever you're ready, perhaps you hug your knees in towards your chest. Giving yourself a nice big hug this morning. Have you had a hug yet? If not, here's one for you. Not enough hugs right now. Need more hugs. And whenever you feel ready, rolling over to one side, whichever side is calling for you. And then gently making your way up to seated, any comfortable seated position. All right. So in your seated position, wherever you are, finding your sits bones, so you're sitting up nice and tall. We'll find some shoulder rolls on the inhale, bringing your shoulders up toward your ears. And on your exhale, rolling your shoulders back and down your spine. Just moving here with your own breath at your own pace. So we'll go one more time here. And then allowing the shoulders to remain back and down your spine. Bring the arms out towards the sides, keeping the shoulders back and down. On your inhale, perhaps you open your heart up towards the sky. And on your exhale, maybe you round your spine, hugging yourself here, wrapping your arms around you as much as you feel comfortable. And just moving here at your own pace with your own breath. Inhale to open and exhale to round. Let's go one more time in each direction. And then once that's complete for you, allowing your arms to come down by your side. All right, some Sufi grinds here. So making some circles in your body. Maybe they're big circles, little circles. Maybe you find a place to kind of hang out and stretch in if that feels good for you. And then going in the opposite direction. And then slowly making your way back to center. Let's find our butterfly. So feet come together, knees apart, finding your sits bones once again, sitting up nice and tall. So we're going to keep our feet active and we're going to find a little bit of movement here. So slightly curling back the toes. And then maybe you just rock from side to side. And then coming back to center. And perhaps finding that circle movement here in your butterfly. Just noticing what you feel here in your hips, low back, shoulders. Let's go in the opposite direction. Coming back to center. And we'll find a cat cow here rather than in tabletop. So hands come wherever's comfortable on your legs, rounding your spine, tucking your chin, tucking your tailbone. And then moving in the opposite direction, Heart opens up towards the sky, shoulders roll back and down. And just continue moving here at your own pace. See where it's more comfortable to inhale and where it's more comfortable to exhale. As you open the heart up towards the sky, perhaps you imagine a string pulling your heart up. Let's go one more time in each direction. Making your way back to center. Inhale to lengthen your spine. And then exhale, hinging from your hips, folding forward, flat back here if you can. Finding one more round of breath. And slowly making your way back up to center. All right, we'll come into a tabletop pose. Wrists underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. I notice I'm moving a little fast. I apologize. Okay, and then from our tabletop pose, let's come into a puppy. So walking the arms out in front, you're going to keep your hips over top of your knees. Perhaps the forehead comes down to the earth if that's comfortable for you, or maybe you find a block or folded blanket. Melting the heart down towards the earth. And noticing your breath. As you inhale, create space in your body, maybe for love. And as you exhale, maybe you send love out to someone who needs it. Let's find one more round of breath here. And then slowly walking your hands back, coming into tabletop. And then in your own time, finding child's pose, any variation that feels good for you. So perhaps taking a moment to contemplate, how can you see love in your life? From here, walking your hands over towards the right side. Sorry, bringing the arms long if they're not already. Walking the arms over towards the right side, keeping the hips down, and perhaps melting the left side body down towards the earth. Walking your hands back through center and over towards the left side. Perhaps melting the left side body down towards the earth. Gently walking your hands back to center. Come into a tabletop pose. And we'll come into a low lunge. So stepping the right foot forward between your hands. You want to make sure the knee is over the ankle in line with the second or third toe. Okay. And then squeezing the inner thighs towards each other as you allow your upper body to rise, softening the shoulders. So we want to turn the palms so that we're sending the pinkies forward to help us soften the shoulders down. And perhaps you just take a couple rounds of breath here to kind of sink and settle. Let's bring the left hand down towards the earth underneath the left shoulder. Finding length in your spine and turning towards the right side. Perhaps that right hand reaches up towards the sky. Try not to collapse in on the left arm. Okay, so let's bring the right hand down towards the inside of the right foot. We're gonna do a little turn here. So you're gonna turn your body towards the left, walk your hands over towards the left. You're gonna spin that back knee or kickstand that back leg back, and then bringing the right leg out long towards the side. So if doesn't feel good for you, you can always bend the knee, toes point out towards the right side. Okay, let's find some cat-cow movement here, rounding your spine, tucking your chin, tucking your tailbone, and then moving in the other direction. So our cat-cow is freedom. Experience freedom with every breath. Let's come back to a flat back here. And then we're going to walk our hands over towards the back of the mat, keeping the right leg out to the side. You're going to bring the left hand underneath the left shoulder. Right arm opens up towards the sky, maybe reaches towards the back of the mat. Softening that shoulder down your spine. All right, if you wish to bring a little bit more, I don't know, a little more into this pose, not sure the word I'm looking for. Let's reach the right leg up and back behind us, finding balance here. Okay, your right foot comes to the earth. We'll bring the hands down towards the earth, walking the hands over towards the right side, all the way towards the front of your mat. You're going to come back into your low lunge. Okay, and then let's step into our tabletop pose and either downward dog or puppy. In your downward dog, sending your hips back and up behind you. Shoulders roll back and down the spine. Spine. Trying not to lock out the elbows. Maybe you pedal out your feet here. All right, we're all going to come into our own variation of a plank pose. Is it knees down, knees up? Would you rather be on forearms? So we want to push our body away from the earth, gripping the fingers into the earth. Draw the navel in. And then shifting your weight forward, drop the knees if you haven't already, tuck the elbows and lower to the earth. Let's find a baby cobra here. So we'll start with the legs today, reaching the legs out long behind you, maybe 1 foot at a time, placing the tops of the feet onto the earth. Hands are underneath the shoulders roll back and down, tuck the elbows, lift the heart. looking down at the earth. So if you want to make this a little bit more challenging, perhaps you lift the arms, squeeze the shoulder blades towards each other. Finding one more round of breath here. And then lowering to the earth. Let's all come back into our tabletop pose. And then we're going to find our low lunge on the other side. Left foot steps forward. Knee is over the ankle in line with the second or third toe. Squeezing the inner thighs together as the upper body rises. Send the tailbone down towards the earth. And perhaps you kind of sink and settle here into this pose. So how do you feel love? How can you feel love in your day-to-day life? Let's bring the right hand down towards the earth underneath the right shoulder. Find length in your spine and turn to the left. Perhaps the left hand reaches up towards the sky. So keeping that front foot active here. Notice if maybe it turns on some muscles in the left leg. Let's bring the left hand down towards the inside of the left foot. And then we're going to walk our hands over towards the right side. Kick standing the right foot back. And again, knee can be bent, or perhaps leg comes out. Long foot is parallel to the short edge of the mat. Okay, and then we'll find some cat-cow movement here. Coming back to a flat back. And then walking the hands over towards the right side. Right hand comes underneath the right shoulder. Left hand reaches up towards the sky, perhaps towards the back of the mat. If you wish for a little bit of a balancing challenge, perhaps you lift that left leg up off the earth, activate the left foot, reach really long. Lowering the left foot, lowering the left hand. We're going to walk all the way back with our hands towards the front of the mat, coming back into that low lunge, and then into our tabletop. So either downward dog or puppy. Shifting your weight into your variation of a plank pose. Draw the navel in. Can you feel love even in plank? All right, shifting your weight forward, coming all the way down to the earth. So perhaps it's baby cobra or sphinx pose, forearms to the earth. Elbows are underneath the shoulders, shoulders roll back and down the spine. Tops of the feet to the earth, and then imagine that you're pulling your arms in towards your chest, allowing the chest to come through between the arms. One more round of breath here. And then gently lowering to the earth. Let's come into tabletop. And then slowly coming back into your variation of child's pose. And just taking a moment here to connect, notice what's going on in your body, your mind, and in your heart. How can you feel love? Do you need to bring back the image of that person from the beginning of our practice who inspires that feeling? Maybe you hold that image of the person in your mind and then release the image. Continue to feel that feeling of love, knowing that it comes from deep inside of you and is not dependent on anyone or anything. Let's find one more round of breath. Making your way back into your tabletop pose. Okay. We're going to step the right foot forward between the hands. Left foot steps forward. Let's come into forward fold. So as much of a bend in your knees as you need, so there's no discomfort here in the low back, backs of your thighs. Perhaps you allow the head to dangle, release any tension you feel in your neck. Let's come into a halfway lift. Hands come to shins or thighs, flat back here. Crown of the head reaches forward. Find equal weight in the four corners of your feet. Big toe mound, baby toe mound, inner heel, outer heel. And on your next exhale, let's come back into our chair pose. So sending the hips back, a slight tuck of the tailbone, radiate the heart open in front, softening the shoulders. And exhale, swan diving down, forward fold. Let's step back the right foot, coming into warrior one. So right foot points up towards the top right corner of the mat. Wide stance here, right foot to the right side, left foot to the left. Squeeze the inner thighs as you rise. So checking your front knee over the ankle, in line with the second or third toe. Can you square your hips towards the front of the mat? Roll the left hip back, right hip forward. Perhaps you find a back bend here. So let's find a slight tuck of the tailbone. Today, let's open the arms out towards the sides if you can. I have a wall. And then open the heart up towards the sky. Inhale, let's come back to center and then round the arms, round the spine, bring the arms around you. Give yourself a bit of a hug. Release the arms back up towards the sky. Warrior one, square your hips. Send the hands back behind you, shifting your weight into your front foot. Right foot comes up off the earth, warrior three. So we want to point the toes of the right foot down towards the earth. Nice long line in the spine. Okay, ready? We're going to see if we can come up to standing without that right foot touching the earth. Send the right knee forward. Arms come up towards the sky. Stork pose. Dancing Shiva. I don't know. Okay. And then we're going to cross the right knee over the left. Have a seat like you're sitting into your chair. And depending on your arms, on your shoulders, maybe you cross your arms, your hands at your shoulders, or perhaps you find eagle arms. We'll bring the right arm out in front, left arm over top. Bend the elbows, perhaps the backs of the hands come together, or you wrap the hands. Elbows come to shoulder height, soften the shoulders. Hands away from the face. Find your breath. Can you even feel love in this pose? Love for yourself, love for your body. Love for where you are right now, even if you lose your balance. One more round of breath here. And then release the arms, release the cross of your legs. Coming into mountain pose, maybe you shake out the left foot. Find your mountain pose once again. Inhale, extended mountain, arms reach up towards the sky. And exhale with a flat back swan, diving down, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. This time, let's all bring our hands to our thighs. And you're gonna find some cat-cow motion here. Tucking the chin, tucking the tailbone, rounding the spine. And then moving in the opposite direction. Allow the heart to shine through. Moving at your own pace. All right, let's all come back to a flat back here. And then exhale, forward fold. Warrior one on the other side, left foot takes a big step back, toes point up towards the top left corner. Squeeze the inner thighs to rise. Rolling the right hip back, left hip forward. Perhaps we find that back bend here, so slight tuck of the tailbone, opening the arms out towards the sides. Imagine that string pulling the heart up towards the sky. Radiate love. Inhale, let's bring the arms back up towards the sky, square the hips once again. Exhale, send the hands back behind you, shift your weight into your right foot, left foot comes up off the earth. Draw the navel in. And perhaps you imagine here that the inner left thigh is rolling up towards the sky. So we're squaring our hips towards the earth. Keeping a micro bend in that right knee. And then we're going to come into our stork pose. So if you can, without touching the earth, come up to standing, sending the left foot forward, bending the knee, arms reach up towards the sky. And then exhale, crossing left knee over right. Sit down like you do in your chair, slight tuck of the tailbone if you can. Woo! Feel the wind. All right, so again, maybe you cross arms here, hands at your shoulders, or maybe you find eagle arms. We'll do left arm out first, right arm over top. Find your variation. Elbows come to shoulder height. Hands come away from your face. Feel love even when you fall. And know that it's okay to fall, right? We all do. One more round of breath here. Release the arms, release the legs. Maybe you shake out your right leg. All right, finding your mountain pose near the top of your mat. We're going to come into our warrior two, a triangle, and then a half moon. So if you like to use blocks for half moon for balance, feel free to bring them near the front of your mat. And then finding your mountain pose at the top of your mat, feet are hip distance apart. Squeeze the inner thighs, soften the shoulder, radiate the heart forward. Inhale, arms reach up towards the sky, extended mountain. Exhale, flat back swan diving down, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, nothing fancy here. And exhale, fold. Let's step the right foot back, setting up for warrior two. So right foot comes parallel to the back of the mat. Front heel maybe intersects with the middle of the back foot. Windmilling the arms up, squaring the hips towards the long edge of the mat, softening the shoulders. So we want to be able to see that big toe, trying not to allow the knee to drop in, and looking over the front arm. So this card, I believe, was about looking at your past, looking at your future, seeing where you're going and being okay with the present. I'm not 100% sure. I think I'm making that up. All right, so let's straighten the front leg, keeping the hips square towards the front or the long edge of the mat, slight micro bend in the knee. Reaching the left arm forward, and then find your variation of triangle. Hand maybe comes to thigh, shin, a block of the earth. So we want to imagine there's a wall behind us. Imagine that the head, shoulders, and hips are coming up against the wall as much as you feel comfortable doing. All right, let's bend into that front knee. Find your block. Our half moon block comes forward and to the left. You're going to shift your weight into your left foot, maybe walking the right foot in slightly and coming up onto the left leg, still keeping that imaginary wall behind you. Ooh. All right, if you want to be fancy in this one, you totally can. If once you find your balance, you want to maybe take the left hand up off the block. Or maybe you want to find sugar cane, bending the back knee, grab a hold of the back foot, send that knee back behind you. Find love if you fall. I have no balance today, so just love. Don't look at the camera. I'm going to make you fall. One more round of breath here. And then bending into that front knee, slowly step the right foot back behind you. See if you can find warrior two. Let's windmill down the hands towards the front of the mat. Step back into your plank. Draw the navel in. Shifting your weight forward, coming down to the earth. All right, so find either a baby cobra, sphinx pose, or we have this variation where we can bring the arms out towards the sides. We want to bring the wrists underneath the elbows, tenting the fingers onto the earth. Lift the heart. And then sometimes it feels good here to find some movement. So maybe you turn towards the right side, come towards the left side, whatever feels good for you. Maybe you're in a different pose. That's okay. Find what feels good. All right, let's lower to the earth. Coming into tabletop. This time we're going to send the left knee forward between the hands. Right foot follows, coming into forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. And exhale to fold. This time setting up for warrior two on the other side. Left foot takes a big step back. Same direction as the back of your mat. Front heel intersects with the middle of the back foot. Windmilling the arms up. Check your front knee. Looking over the front arm. What does this card say? I am ready for adventure. I see the future, remain in the present, and release the past. There we go. Straightening the front leg, keeping a micro bend in that knee, keeping the hips square towards the long edge of the mat. Reaching with the right hand, reaching forward, and then finding your variation of triangle. I forgot my blocks. Uh-oh, okay. All right, so whenever you're ready, grab your block, bend into that front knee. We're gonna reach the block or the hand forward and to the right. Shifting into that right foot. Keep the hips squared towards the long edge of the mat if you can. Lifting the back leg. Maybe the right hand comes up off the block. Perhaps you find sugarcane by bending the back leg, grab a hold of the top of the back foot, send that knee back behind you. Continue opening towards the side of the mat. Finding 2 more rounds of breath. Bending into that front knee, send the left foot back, warrior two. Ooh. Hands windmill down to frame the front foot. Step back into your variation of a plank. Last one, I promise. Then let's all come to tabletop. Coming back into child's pose. So deep inhales. Long, slow exhales. All right, so let's come into tabletop. We're going to find a variation of frog. Okay, so we're going to bring big toes together, knees apart. All right, and then you're going to come down onto your forearms. And maybe you start to walk the forearms forward. Perhaps you soften the hips down. Draw the navel in. One more round of breath. And then slowly walk the forearms back. All right, so we're going to turn our feet out so that the ankles come underneath the knees. Maybe you stay here on your forearms. Maybe you start to sit back into this one. Send the hips back, soften the heart. It's kind of like an open leg variation of a child's pose. All right, let's slowly come forward once again and bring your hands to the earth. Come back into your tabletop pose. Let's shift forward into a modified plank. Tuck the elbows lower to the earth. All right, I invite you to find your back bend of choice. What feels good for you here? Wherever you come, soften the shoulders. Micro bend in the elbows. If you're in cobra, send the heart forward. Can you radiate love? One more round of breath. And then exhale to lower. From here, let's bend the knees and windshield wiper the feet from side to side, just to release any tension we feel in the low back. All right, and then whenever you're ready, making your way into tabletop, and then flip around into seated. We're going to find a seated forward fold. So here, there's a couple different things you can do. One of which is to bring the blanket underneath your hips so that you're sitting up tall and that you're not like rounding in the back. And this also helps us to keep the length to reach forward. So in our seated forward fold, we're going to activate our feet from back to toes. If you wish to, you can always bring either rolled up blanket, a couple blocks, or maybe even when you come forward, your fists can come underneath the knees. So you're not locking up the knees, and so it's feeling a little bit more comfortable along the backs of the legs. All right. So finding your sit bones nice and tall. Inhale to lengthen your spine. You're going to imagine sending your heart forward towards the toes on your exhale. So flat back, hinge from the hips, heart reaches forward, walking the hands forward as far as you feel comfortable. So another option here is to also push your heels into the earth, just gently to lift the knees. Keep sending that heart forward towards the toes. And then if you don't have any back issues, perhaps you soften and round the back, maybe even softening the feet. Introspection. I enter the cave of my heart and in silence find my true path. So, is there a way you can perhaps send love to yourself and receive it? How does it feel to receive love? Can you receive your own love, your own care? Let's find one more round of breath here. And then slowly coming up with a flat back if you can. We're going to return to our butterfly pose. Feet together, knees apart. Let's find that cat-cow movement here. Round the spine, tuck the chin, tuck the tailbone. Move in the opposite direction. Heart opens up towards the sky. Just moving here at your own pace. And then gently making your way back to center, finding length in your spine. And we're going to find a twist here. So right hand comes to left knee, left hand comes behind you. Inhale to lengthen the spine and exhale to turn to the left. Only going as far as you feel comfortable. On your next inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, come back to center. We'll find that on the other side, left hand to right knee. Right hand comes behind you. Inhale to lengthen and exhale to turn. On your next inhale, lengthen your spine. Exhale, come back to center. You're going to bring the legs out long. All right. Can you slowly come down onto your back? Nice and slow. Draw the navel in. Take your time. Once you find your way down towards the earth, we'll find a bridge. So I invite you to find maybe a restorative bridge or a supported bridge if that's comfortable for you, or if you want to come into a full bridge, you can. So, option for the restorative bridge, probably should have told you this before you came down to the earth. Finding a prop, block, maybe folded blanket. So I'll bring us all into or anybody who wants to come into it, into restorative variation first. So feet are going to come to the earth, knees are bent, feet are hip distance apart. Pushing your feet into the earth to lift your hips, slide a prop underneath. We don't want it in the low back, we want it just a little bit closer to the feet. Arms come out to the side, palms face up. Maybe it feels good here. Maybe you want to walk the feet wide, knees come together. There's also an option here to bring the legs out long. Feeling a stretch along the front of the hips. Great. If you're not interested in the restorative bridge, feet are on the earth, hip distance apart, knees are bent. Pushing your feet into the earth, lift the hips, squeeze the inner thigh. Maybe you grab a hold of the sides of the mat to pull the sides or to pull the mat apart, ripping it in half almost. Or you wrap the shoulders underneath, clasp the hands, try to send the hands down towards the earth. Find your breath. Take a moment here, if you can, to connect to your heart space. Can you bring back that feeling of love? Again, if you need to, bring back the image of the one who inspires that feeling. If you're in the unsupported bridge, maybe you roll your shoulders out from underneath you and slowly come down. Allow the back to adjust to the flatness of the earth. Try not to make any sudden movements. If you're in the restorative bridge, pushing your feet into the earth, feet are hip distance apart. Lift the hips to remove the prop from under you, coming down to the earth nice and slow. Softening the back flat on the earth. Find your breath. As you breathe here, take deep inhales, allowing for your body to expand, creating space for love. And exhale, feeling everything coming back together, maybe bringing that love towards your heart center. Do that a couple more times. Inhale, deep inhales, create space, fill the body with love. And exhale, bring it in towards heart center. One last time, inhale, expand, full of love. Exhale, draw it in. Is there any movement that you need to make before we come into Shavasana, corpse pose, or any other resting pose that feels good? So any movements you need to make, perhaps it's tuck the knees in, maybe you find socks, it doesn't matter, whatever feels right for you. We have about a minute. Taking your time here. In your own time, whenever you're ready, coming into Shavasana, corpse pose, or any final resting pose that feels good for you on the earth. Use as many props as you feel you need. And taking a moment again to connect into your heart space. Taking deep inhales and long, slow exhales. Can you see love, feel love, radiate love, and receive love? Feeling that sensation of love in your body. Is there a part of you that needs to feel love? perhaps you imagine that as you expand, you fill that part of you with love. And as you exhale, feel that love concentrating to that part that needs it. Or perhaps you start to fill your entire body with love, connecting to the heart space, connect to that feeling that comes up in your body. As you inhale, allowing that love to start to expand from the heart center. Exhale, allow it to flow through your body. Perhaps you imagine it flowing all the way to the top of your head and all the way to the soles of your feet. Perhaps you imagine that love sinking into every cell of your body. If you wish to, maybe start expanding that love out, maybe to someone or an animal in your home. Perhaps it expands out to your neighborhood. Maybe you send that love out to someone who needs it. Perhaps you expand that love out to others in this virtual space. Can you also receive love? Sometimes that's the hard. Giving yourself permission to receive love. May I see love. May I feel love. May I radiate love. May I receive love. Making some small movements here in your fingers and toes, or maybe rocking your head from side to side. What movements does your body need? Perhaps you allow those small movements to become bigger movements. Or maybe you stay here for a little while. That's okay too. If you wish, rolling over to one side, whichever side is calling for you. And then gently making your way up to seated. And once you get there, lowering or closing your eyes. As you breathe, taking deep inhales, expanding the body, filling the body with love. And as you exhale, perhaps you send it throughout your body or send it to someone else that you feel needs it. The light in me sees and honors the light and love in each and every one of you. Thank you so much for joining me today. Have a beautiful day.